This is Molly. Welcome to Purpose, where we are going through the Bible, reading the stories, and seeing how they relate to our own lives. Why? So we can grow closer to God. So we can love Him more and more every day. And when we get to heaven, we're going to know Him, He's going to know us, and we are going to hit the ground running. We left off, excuse me, I have a cold, with Genesis chapter 30, verse 25. So we talked about Jacob and Rachel and Leah and all the kids that they had. And Jacob worked for Uncle Laban for 7 years so that he could marry Leah, another 7 for Rachel, and now the time has come. It's time for him to leave. He's ready to go home. He's ready to go back to his country and his land, which means facing Esau and facing what he did. Remember, Jacob really messed up. He stole the inheritance from his older brother that he was supposed to get. Now, maybe Esau didn't deserve it. Maybe he wouldn't have been a good person to take over the family business, but that didn't mean that Jacob had the right to steal it. He's ready to face up to that, go back home, make amends, and apologize. So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are what's considered the patriarchs and of Judaism, the Jewish faith, and of what's now known as the Christian faith. They're the forefathers that started everything. Abraham taught us you gotta have faith. He's the father of faith. He taught us that you have to have faith in God no matter how things turn out, even if it's not the way you want it. And then his son Isaac taught us you gotta have faith in God no matter what, but he built on it. And he said you have to be obedient to God. You have to do whatever God asks of you, even if it scares you, even if it doesn't make sense. You got to do what God asks you to do. And now Jacob comes along, Isaac's son, and he's teaching us you got to have faith in God no matter what. You got to be obedient to God, and you've got to repent. You've got to be sorry for what you've done when you messed up. You have to make amends for it. You're either going to apologize and make up for it now on earth, or you're going to do it in heaven when you're in front of God. But either way, you got to make amends for what you did. And Jacob's also going to teach us about forgiving other people, turning the other cheek when they're treating us bad, which is something that's hard for me to do. So anyway, his time is up, and he tells his uncle Laban, it's time for me to go. I need to take my family and go back home now. Laban didn't want that one bit. Jacob had brought him a lot of wealth. Since Jacob started working for him, his flocks were increasing, money was coming in all over the place. He didn't have to do a lot of work because Jacob was there. He didn't want him to leave. And so Jacob said, you know, when I came here, you had nothing, and now you've got great wealth. I worked for you in the heat of the day, in the freezing cold night. I worked for you when you changed my wages 10 times. You cheated me. I still stayed here working for you. When wild animals killed a lamb, you took that out of my pay. I had to pay for that. You did not treat me well, Laban, and now it's time for me to leave. And so Laban said, well, what do you think I owe you? What should I give to you? And Jacob said, I'll take all of the spotted lambs and goats, spotted, striped, speckled. I'll take those. You can have the pure white ones or the solid black. Now, back in those days, having a pure white lamb or a goat meant it was better quality. So Jacob's saying, I'll take the lesser. You take the greater, and I'll go. And Uncle Laban was like, sure, sounds like a good deal to me. Then he turned around and told his sons, hey, get out there and take all the spotted and speckled lambs and goats and calves and whatever else and hide them 3 days away from here so Jacob can't get them. cheated him again. Jacob has been turning the other cheek with this man for a long time. I have trouble doing that. If somebody cheated me and lied to me as much as Laban did to Jacob, I don't think I'd stick around. But Jacob kept forgiving him and turning the other cheek. Well, he's going to be blessed for that, let me tell you. Jacob's going to work an additional 6 years for Laban to build up his flock, because Laban told him, you can have all the spotted and speckled ones. Well, every time the sheep came to drink, if they were strong sheep, well, all sheep, when they came up to drink, they would breed. So when the strong ones came up, God gave Jacob a great idea. Take a stick, put it in the water, and their lambs will be spotted or striped. When the weak sheep come up, take that rod back out of there, and when they breed, they're going to have weak lambs and goats and whatever else. So Laban's flocks were getting kind of puny because he got all the pure white ones, while Jacob's flocks are just thriving and being strong and growing. Well, after about 6 years of that, he had a great flock, and he's ready to leave again. The boys are hearing about this, Laban's sons. They're not happy. They think Jacob's stealing. Those belong to them. It was their sheep that had those. They should get the stronger ones and the better one. Jacob's hearing this, and he knows we got to get out of Dodge because they're going to kill me or steal all the sheep or something. He didn't trust them. So when the boys and Laban were off shearing, Jacob told his wives, Leah and Rachel, pack up the kids, women, ladies, we're hitting the road. Do you want to come with me? I'm going back home. And they said, what do we have here? Our dad sold us. He doesn't care about us. We're not getting any inheritance. We're not going to get our land. He's going to give it to the boys. We'll have no way to take care of our children. Yeah, we'll come with you. And they do not travel light. They had all those kids. They had servants and herdsmen and lots of people, lots of camels to pack up. But they did it. They got it all packed up, and they were ready to head out. Rachel ran back into Laban's tent. Now, Laban believed in the one true God that Jacob believed in, but he didn't worship him. He didn't care about him. He believed in lots of fake gods, and he had an idol, probably had more than one idol. But he had one idol that was probably made of gold, and Rachel stole it. She took it. She wanted a little insurance policy that if things don't work out well with Jacob in this new land, she's going to be able to take care of herself and her kids. She didn't have faith. This is going to come back to haunt her somehow. I don't know how, it doesn't say. But there's consequences for everything. Jacob can't be punished for this. If somebody does something and you don't know that they're doing it, you can't be punished for it. But as soon as you find out about it, then it's your job to make amends or do whatever you have to do. So if your parents never taught you about God, you're not going to get punished for that. God's not going to punish you if you've never been taught. But once you learn about God, then you got to follow all the rules. So anyway, they hit the road with the idol in tow. And when Laban found out about it, he was not happy. He was hot. He was going to go after them, bring them back. He wanted those sheep. I don't think he cared so much for the girls, but he wanted the grandkids. He wanted the flocks, and he was going to go get them. But that night, God came to him in a dream, and he must have had one heck of a dream. God told him, don't you touch Jacob. Don't you hurt him. Don't you say anything bad to him. And Laban didn't. It must have been a whopper of a dream because he didn't hurt him. But he did take after him. And when he caught up to him, he said, I have the power to really hurt you, Jacob, but I'm not because your God told me not to. So he believed in God. He just didn't worship him. And then he said, but why'd you have to go and steal my idol? And Jacob was like, what idol? We don't have your idol. And then he said, look through all our stuff. If anybody has it, they'll die. Because he didn't think anybody had it. He didn't know Rachel had it. Rachel put it into like a bag in her saddle, and she was sitting on it, on her camel. So Laban tore up everybody's tents, turned over every pot, looked in all the clothes, The servants, the women, the kids, everybody didn't find it. Jacob's getting madder and madder because he has worked for this man for 20 years. He's forgiven him for cheating him and lying to him and mistreating him. And he doesn't trust him when he tells him, we don't have your idol? So they get to Rachel and they say, all right, Missy, get down off that camel. We need to check in your bags. And she said, oh, I can't get down. It's that time of the month for me. And they were like, whoa, let's move it on to the next person. And they never did find the idol. And so Jacob told Laban, you don't have the idol, go on back home. And Laban said, you see all this? All this belongs to me. Those girls, they belong to me. Those kids, they're mine. All these sheep and goats and servants, they all belong to me. But I'm going to let you go because he was afraid of God, I think. I think that's the only reason he let him go. And he said, let's make a pact between us that you won't come after me and I won't come after you. So they set up this pillar of stones and they made their pact. And Jacob promised, I'm not going to go onto your land. You don't come onto my land. And they went their separate ways. And then the most amazing thing happened to Jacob. He saw a whole army of angels. He didn't even know they were there. That whole time he was facing Laban, there was an army of angels with him. And he even said, this must be God's army. He wasn't alone. And it's the same with us. We have at least one angel with us all the time, a guardian angel. And I think when we're facing evil, we probably have a whole army with us too. Who knows? We can't see them, but they're there. And we have to have faith and believe that our angels are with us, guiding us to God. And we need to tell them thank you and pray to our angels. And I don't know, if somebody you know is suffering, ask your angel to go and pray with their angel. Does it help? I don't know. Does it work? I don't know, but it sure can't hurt. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story. Next time we get together, we're going to find out what happens to Jacob when he goes home. Will Esau kill him? I don't know. We're going to find out. Meanwhile, I pray that you have the best day today. Talk to your angel. Tell him thank you. And I pray that God just touches your heart and fills you full of his love and his strength and his wisdom so you can grow closer to him and learn how to love him the way he deserves. That's our purpose on this earth. Bye-bye, everyone.